So the left would be v of t being less than 0, and stopped is what? Equals 0. Okay, so in number 7, what was the function you were given?
E to the sine of t.
That was v of t, right? Hold on, I need more room. V of t is e to the sine of t, and then cosine t. Okay, and you were given the interval, and this is important from here. This is 0 to 2 pi. Okay. So no matter what sine is, guys, this function is made up of some e exponential function and cosine. In order for this function to be 0, that means I'm going to find where these two things equal 0. Is the function e to the x or e to the sine of t ever 0? No. So to answer where v of t is 0, what I'm going to do is v of t is going to be 0 where cosine is 0. On our unit circle, let's think about this, guys. Where is the cosine 0? Sidebar, some people did all of the math right on their unit 6, chapter 6 test and found a sign where the cosine and sine of pi halves incorrectly. That kind of stuff makes me very frustrated. Where is the cosine 0? It is a memorization of unit circle. Okay, so let's think about this. Okay, once again, isn't e to the x, no matter what's up here, isn't it always positive? No, not understanding that? Function e to the x, isn't it always positive? Okay, so when we're doing a sign chart for this thing is always positive. All right. You don't have to. You don't have to do the sign chart, but you can. That's what happens when you eat trail mix. Sorry. Okay. Between 0 and pi halves, is the cosine positive or negative? Positive, and we said this is always positive, so we have a positive times positive. This is positive here. Between pi halves and 3 pi halves, the cosine is negative, isn't it? Yes. So we have a positive times a negative. And then from 3 pi halves to 2 pi, that's on the other quadrant 4 of the unit circle, it is positive, positive. Let's answer our question then. Where does the particle move to the right? So 0 to pi halves. By the way, guys, you can write these as intervals like this, or you can use brackets if you want. And then 3 pi halves to 2 pi. It is moving to the left from pi halves to 3 pi halves. And stopped when t equals pi halves and 3 pi halves seconds. Okay, do you see how I did that with no use of the graph at all? That was kind of the expectation there. Find the particle's displacement for the given time interval. Ooh, displacement. Displacement is the integral, correct? From 0 to 2 pi of v of t dt. How in the world do I integrate this? Do we forget everything we learned last chapter? I hope not. Can you use u substitution? Do you see that if I made this u, then the derivative of u is in there? So I'm going to let u be sine of t, and then du is cosine t dt, isn't it? Sorry, I forgot that there. And you see the du right in the problem. You don't even have to do anything to manipulate it. All right. Also then, this is a definite integral. I need to do u of 2 pi. What's u of 2 pi? What's the sign at 2 pi? 0. And because I'm going to rewrite it with u substitution, okay? And u of 0 is also 0. Uh-oh. Ooh, I can stop right here then, can't I? Yeah. If I'm going to integrate from 0 to 0, what should my displacement be? 0. Is that what the back of the book said for B? That the displacement was 0? Okay. So just to go through, though, the process, this is integrating from 0 to 0, e of u du. Do you see that u substitution there? And I don't even need to integrate because the integral from 0 to 0 is just 0. Does that mean that the particle went 0? No, it means it's going back and forth. It means that it started and stopped at the same place. That's all that it means. Okay. Then the last thing, what's the total distance traveled? Well, didn't we already decide that this was going to be negative right here? Okay, so let's do C. We're going to split it into 3 integrals. We're going to do 0 to pi halves. Since we did this already, do you want to just use the u substitution from up there? Are you okay with that? Okay. I got to figure out what these are, though. Plus the absolute value of the second one. Plus 3 pi halves to 2 pi. Oh, I gotta figure out what those are again. Okay. We already figured out u of 0 was 0, so I'm going to make this a 0 on the bottom. This top is pi halves, right? Let's see, what's u of pi halves? What's the sign at pi halves? Okay, so this is going to be a 1. Okay. This is going to go from pi halves, which we know is 1, to 3 pi halves. Well, what is the value at 3 pi halves, the sign? Negative 1. Okay. And then 3 pi halves to 2 pi is going to be negative 1 and 0. Okay. How are we doing so far? Okay, let's integrate then. What's the integral of e to the u? I don't even need to go back and do it. If I use u substitution, that's why I did that. I'm not going to even sub back in again. It's just e to the u, isn't it? Okay. So I'm going to do e to the u from 1 to 0. I'm going to keep it positive. Then I'm going to do e to the u from negative 1 to 1, and I'm going to take the absolute value of that. And then I'm going to do e to the u from 0 to negative 1. Okay, let's write it all out. This is e to the first minus e to the 0. What's e to the 0? E to the first minus e to the 0. What's e to the 0? 1. Okay. Plus e to the negative first minus e to the first. Make that absolute value. Plus, this would be e to the 0, which is 1, minus e to the negative 1. Okay. What can cancel out?
I did e to the negative 1 minus e to the first and found the absolute value of that, which one's bigger, by the way?
E to the 1.
Yeah, so what I'm saying now, hear me out, is to remove this absolute value, don't I have to just write it as e to the 1 minus e to the negative 1? Okay. So I do that.
So these are going to cancel. And I write e to the first. I have to write this as e to the first minus e to the negative 1, and then minus e to the negative 1. And whammo, 2e to the first, or 2e, would be the total distance traveled. Okay. Let's check our work. How come it's not in there? Is yours not in there either? Huh?
It says the answer.
What?
No, you subtract both.
So it would be negative 2 e to the negative 1.
Okay, say it again, Nikki. Can you say it again?
It would be 2e minus 2e to the negative 1st, because they're both being subtracted.
Oh, for the love of Pete, I got so excited. That's ridiculous. Yeah. It's 2e to the first minus 2e to the negative first? Yeah, I canceled these out. Can you cancel those out? No, you cannot. They're both negative. Nikki, you can get a Jolly Rancher. It's 2e to the first, I'm going to write it up here. 2e to the first minus 2e to the negative first. Did they write it as 2 over e?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.